Hello, hello. Thank you for clicking on our faces. We are back again to discuss this month's book of the month, which is, of course, a memoir by Jenifer Lewis, which is called the Mother of Black Hollywood. But of course, I'm not here by myself. We have E Boogie. How's it going? Hey.
Doing well, doing well.
All right. And we have Kay from Slice of Horror joining us this month. What's going on over there?
Hey, I said, oh, I read that book.
I'm glad you can join us. For those who are just tuning in, again, this is a memoir by Dr. Motherfucking Jennifer Lewis. What did she say? The owner of the seven seas who always checks the meat. And this is just a little snippet of what it's about. And I didn't pick this book this month. Actually, E picked this book. So let us know, what made you pick this book and a couple of your thoughts and star rating.
Okay, so my selection for this book was partially due to us doing a lot of fiction in the past. Now we have done some based on a true story books, but I wanted to get into a little nonfiction. And I've always loved biographies, especially autobiographies, because nobody can tell your story better than yourself.
Uh-huh.
And this book has been just in my personal library for a while. So I thought this was a great opportunity to not only finish it, but share it with you guys and continue to promote it, because I really love Jenifer Lewis and her whole thing. And so kind of getting this opportunity to delve into her history really drew me in as far as choosing this book.
All right. All right. So tell us what your star rating is. What are things that you liked about the book? Spoiler free, of course. This portion is spoiler free if you haven't read, but we will be getting into spoilers later on in the show.
Spoiler free. Okay. I don't feel like I can really say anything that about this book that would be spoiler free. So I'm gonna try my best. My star rating would be 3.8. I probably would have given it higher. I'll get into why it isn't a little bit higher, considering that it honestly involves a lot of things that Aaron loves. I love theater, I love musicals, I love people like Jenifer Lewis who just have that huge, bold personality, and especially women that are kind of like unabashedly themselves. That said, 3.8.
Okay.
3.8 is my book rating.
All right. All right. What about you, Kay? Thoughts on the book? Again, your star rating at the end, 1 through 5. And tell us a little bit about, how you got into the book, because she's actually read it way before us. So take the floor.
This was, I think, one of my book choices. So I used to be in a book club before I moved. And each month we rotate, who picks the book. And I think this was one of my choices because I like Jenifer Lewis and she is so lively and animated. And I saw her doing different interviews and things about her story. And I thought it would be interesting to read upon it, especially, being that she's been in television and film for many generations and that she comes from a theater background. But I didn't know until she like publicly came out and talked about her diagnosis of being bipolar. And I wanted to read a little bit more about that. So I found that interesting that she opened up about that journey as well, and some trauma that she experienced growing up that I learned in the book. So I really appreciate how vulnerable and candid she was.
All right. And out of 5 stars, 5 being absolutely perfect, 1 being complete trash, what would you rate this
uh, Probably a 3.5. I stick towards more of my, horror, suspense, thriller, sci-fi, YA type books is usually where I'm at. So
uh-huh.
I don't read a lot of biographies or self-help books and things like that. The so-called non-fun books. But this one was really good. And I I'm glad to have gotten her story told by her. And it's one that I would recommend for people who don't often read, um, who would like to read more um, autobiographies and things like that. Like if that's like your thing, this is you should put this one on your list.
All right, all right, all right. So we got some high threes so far, almost fours. So for me, right, I don't think I've ever r- read a nonfiction outside of school. Like this is like my first like nonfiction book. And this is a memoir. I had to look up because I was like, is it a autobiography? Is it a biography? Is it a memoir? I didn't even know what the difference was, guys. So I had to look it up. So apparently, if you do like a biography, it's from your whole life, right? From birth to death, pretty much. But a memoir is supposed to be like a certain point in your life, right? And so that's why I guess this book focused mostly about her, her career, even though we did get a whole bunch of other like insight about her private life and stuff. Um, but for someone like myself who's again never read any really nonfiction books, I was really interested and immersed pretty early on in the book. And I'm not sure if it's different for those who've like read like a hard copy or a Kindle version, because I listen to the audible version, um, or through Libby. Support your local libraries. Get the Libby app. You can get all that stuff from Audible. You can get it on Libby. Um, but it's read by Jenifer Lewis herself, and I felt like that adds a little extra to it for me. It made it so much more immersive. And if you've heard of Jenifer Lewis, you know about the power in her voice, and hearing that power as she tells her own story was just really it was doing it for me, guys. It was doing it for me. I was there, I was with it. So as far as star ratings, it's hard because if I grade it, I don't want to grade it the same way I do on nonfiction books. So for me, this being nonfiction, a memoir, I'm going to give it a 5 star. I'm giving a 5 star.
Real quick, is this our first 5 star or no?
I think it is our first 5 star.
Wow.
Only because I'm not into nonfictions, and it was so easy for me to get through this, and it was to the point that I was like eager to get to hear more. So I'm thinking, okay, yeah, 5 star, Miss Jenifer Lewis.
That's really
So
cool.
yeah, this is awesome. But with that in mind, we are now getting into our spoiler time. So full alerts. Okay. So what do y'all think about Jenifer Lewis outing Oprah as being a little jealous, a little jealous, uh, a little green-eyed monster? So I was like, oh, now she didn't give her the part.
I kind of already had that feeling. I don't know if it's because I've heard other accounts or just the air about her, but it's just it for me it's very much so giving like two divas, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you're a certain type of personality and you're just used to being treated a certain way and or kind of commanding space wherever you go, when you approach somebody else that's in that same vein or in that same energy, you have two choices. One is to embrace it and kind of just thrive being with and in the company of someone that is giving that equal energy, that's just giving that equal level of stardom and like play off of each other, or turn that diva mode on and just kind of crap on it, to be honest.
Okay.
I feel like there's been more that I want to say there's been a couple instances in this story where our narrator kind of fell into the trap when she felt that although she had been given accolades in a public setting, someone else was kind of pooing on it and it kind of ruined her day. So I feel like she didn't judge her that much. For me though, I was like, oh yeah, no, that doesn't surprise me.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I wasn't surprised either because yeah, Oprah sometimes gives off that, you know, that vibe. But I was just shocked that she called it out in her own memoir. And also that whole, you know, friendly rivalry between her and Beth Midler, I think it was. He said, "Oh yeah, the greatest." When she called her in the letter, I said something about the great, most talented um, actress, black actress in the world, and I'm the most talented white actress, or something like that. But it was a friendly rivalry. I thought that was interesting between
Loved
those.
that so much, and that they continued to kind of be in each other's worlds really as Jennifer's career continued to blossom and she
Mhm,
kind of um, reached that icon status.
mhm.
Just all first all the name dropping for me was just like,
Yeah.
ooh, it just felt like such an exciting behind the scenes look at these stars and these big names that I've watched growing up, and just how somebody that that is beloved to me, Jenifer Lewis, has been tied to them this whole time. I didn't quite know. It's like you get the feeling somebody like Jenifer Lewis, just from how the characters that she's played, the type of woman that she is, and that she's just a woman with many friends, many acquaintances, and just beloved by all. And she really is that. She is exactly who she thinks she is. Like she is
Mhm.
that girl for real. And I just loved that she fully embodied exactly who I thought she was.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And there was a couple other things I wanted to mention. One being uh, how she refers to other actors, you know, they call themselves gypsies. That was something new that I learned in the book. And again, to speak about how there were so many name drops. Everyone was the renowned so and so, the great so and so something. And it's like, okay, everyone's so she definitely like gave out those accolades. So it isn't like she's, you know, selfish with the shine, at least in, you know, in her books, right? Um, and also very open about her love life. There were she came out about I do know a few years back. I think Kay touched on it. She came out about having bipolar disorder. I forget what show. I think it was the Ellen show she mentioned or something. So I was
She
kind of
talked about it on Oprah.
on Oprah. Oh, okay. So I was kind of vaguely familiar with her coming out with that, but I had no idea about the, you know, sex. I don't know if we said on you the X addiction, which was prevalent throughout the book.
Throughout, and it didn't, I'm not going to say it quite even came to a halt once she started to seek treatment.
Uh-huh.
It, I would say it definitely lowered with her treatment and taking medication, which ultimately she deems a good thing. I do too, especially if it like was kind of trying to fill a void ultimately that she couldn't, even with her one passion, which was stardom and success in that in Hollywood. Like for her to ultimately still need sex to cap that and to kind of be the cherry on top of her benchmarks in her career was like, okay, while she is just fabulous and worldly, and I absolutely adore a woman who is in command of her sexuality and her body, there were moments that I was just like, damn, like, can we, girl, just sit in it and just be, you know?
Right again, like dang.
Yeah, I did feel that. And I felt such a sense of like you said, Chrissy, this story was very immersive.
Mhm,
And there were moments that I saw myself and saw a mirror of some of my personal experiences with people, people that I love, and kind of being like at them.
mhm,
I feel like uh, it's it is eye opening to see somebody go through their journey and like pinpoint that all of these things together, kind of like the checklist that her therapist, her psychologist Rachel gave her,
uh-huh.
of
That's
all
right.
of these markers of her potentially having BPD, and her kind of her visceral and actual like literal responses to each of these markers and like kind of
Mhm.
being defensive. And then as we get further down the list, she's just like, okay, yeah, like all of these lined up together, like that makes sense, and kind of just going with her on that journey. um was very eye-opening and just very powerful. I feel like there's a lot of women in Hollywood, or even women in our own lives, that have gone through similar experiences and a similar journey, and just haven't had the chance to meet with a professional to know that this is what they're going through, and they're going on an uphill battle through their lives up against ultimately a mental illness that they aren't even aware that they have. And so I just thought that that was really powerful. And coming from the generation that she's coming from, her being able to acknowledge it and move on, move to treatment, know that she could be feeling better and doing better if she addresses it and calls it what it is. I think that that was very powerful as well. And I wish more people, especially Black women, would read this book and be talking about it. I'm sure we all are. Just, you know, in my personal life, I just wish more people are talking about this book, because it is a very powerful testimony.
For sure. And even with Miss Rachel being her therapist, I love that Miss Rachel didn't really take her shit as much. She was just like, look, you coming into therapy, you're not going to sleep with that man. This is what, and that's exactly what she needed. Like, I'm also glad that she found a therapist that works for her. Because sometimes you can get matched up with somebody and it ain't the right vibe. And okay, you kind of work in this field, right? So you have a little bit of knowledge about that. Um, but is it normal for like people to call their therapist in like 2 a.m. They'll be like, yeah, I'm about to sleep with this man, talk me out of it. Cause that's when, if I was Miss Rachel, that's what I would have been like, don't call my damn phone.
They'll call, but I won't be answering to the next business hours.
Right, golly.
I will get messages though sometimes, and they'll be like, I know you're not going to see this until tomorrow, but I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, all right.
Or
Dang,
get
that's
an
it.
email, be like, hey, I'm just reaching out. Do you the next available set do you have? But this is what's going, or use me as a personal diary. Some of my clients will send me TikTok videos that they feel like relate to them the most. This is the age of the
Oh,
internet.
wow.
Be like, hey, this is something that sounds like me, and I wanted to show you this.
Oh.
And
Well,
yeah,
see,
you got to meet people where they are.
yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. You can kind of, they have that connection, and I guess yeah, everyone's different. They connect how they connect. But yeah, Miss Rachel is a saint, because ain't no way I'm picking up that damn phone. And but back to her love life, she had several many lovers, but there were a few that she mentioned that were like, the love of her life, or very, integral to the plot of this memoir. One of them, I wrote down a couple of them. There was Miguel, which she mentioned was her first love. And there was a part in the book that was a little confusing to me. And I want to know if you guys had any more clarity on that. Um, After, of course, Miguel and her were on and off, in and out of each other's life. But by the time she got engaged, or engaged to Thomas, I think his name was, she found out that Miguel had passed away, right, of some sort of heart attack or something. But then she said something about them making love in the park. And I'm like, was this just an airy way of her saying her goodbyes in the book? Or did she actually go and meet him and, smash him one last time before the heart attack? Or did anybody get that interpretation? Or
Um, I hard to say. This was part of one of my problems with the book, was that because we were going back and forth through time, it was very difficult for me to track certain sequences of events. So that is a part of the point deduction for me.
Okay.
So I can't speak to that one instance.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I looked at it as a flashback.
Okay. All right. I was
But I
thinking,
love how she used to describe him in her just this grandiosity way, which she would just say his name, Miguel, in the book.
Miguel.
Yeah. That everybody has just this wonderful grand introduction. It's like it's like she take you there. She helps take the picture there. And there's this one thing in the book that when she said uh someone broke into her apartment,
Oh, yeah.
and she kind of like talked her way out of like being harmed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's traumatizing.
Mm-hmm.
That she didn't really kind of deal with like a lot of that. Like that's like stuff that people kind of just like it happened and then we're gonna move on to the next thing. But like that's like traumatizing, especially from when with her being a child, and then was it where she was like assaulted by like the pastor or something?
Yeah. Uh-huh. And the mom did nothing about it.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. It's sad what happens because I feel like a lot of times it's especially older Black women, they're just, taught to move on from it, don't talk about it, just, act like it didn't happen. And clearly that was how her mom kind of thought about it. But still to continuously show up to this man's church every Sunday, I was like, what the mom got it? Is she got it bad for the pastor? Like, what is going on? Why would you continue to be in his congregation knowing, what your daughter said about him?
And how many other victims were along the lines of this type of person supposed to be preaching the word of God, and you're actually a pedo. and
Hmm.
then and then by how her mom handled that situation, it just like reminded me when she when somebody tried to attack her as an adult, and
Yeah.
that she just kind of like it got glossed over as a child. So let me just gloss over and get my stuff together and keep it pushing.
Yeah, man. See, it's a mess. But to bring it back to one of her other like memorable love interests, there was Thomas, and she actually was engaged to Thomas. And I honestly didn't know why she said yes to that man because they were on and off for forever. She had to be a pick me for this man because he was doing everything to get a like honestly tell her that he didn't want her, but still sticking around for the coochie or something. It felt like and for him to come around and propose and she say yes. I'm like, no, this isn't going to work. I don't know how the heck. I didn't like Thomas at all. And the worst one was freaking what's his name? Terrence. Terrence old, Moosh and Terrence who ain't really got no job. He just there to collect. I think, oh my God, she's got to do everything for Terrence. She got him on her show so he can get a check. I'm like, and then what did she say? Her final straw was when he left her on some summit or some mountain thing, and she needed to turn around, but he was like, "All right, you go. I'll keep going." Even though it's getting dark, and she needed someone else there with her. And it made me wonder. She also mentioned something about a sociopath that came into her life. I don't think she gave that person a name unless she was referring to um what's his name, Terrence, as
Parents.
a sociopath, but that was a little unclear for me as well. I'm assuming it's a different person, or I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a different person. It was some sort of serial con man who always conned
Uh,
women. We didn't honestly spend that much time on him, and I was a little annoyed by that because I felt
yeah,
like,
that's juicy, right? Right? We
yeah,
get
that's really juicy, and we didn't even get a lot of info about him. But I mean, I guess also, she didn't want to give him too much shine in her
yeah.
story. He kind
Uh-huh.
of just got a quick little blurb, and then the friend of hers busting him out, and then her saying okay, and then going to the police. But I don't know, it's just honestly a lot happened in this book.
Yes.
So much.
We even went through the whole AIDS epidemic.
Yes.
That was covered very heavily in the book. And another thing that I learned about her in this book, she's a mother. She had a foster child that she took, complete care of, because of the situation with the child's mother. That was something I didn't know about her. So, all in all, I really enjoyed the book, guys.
Oh yeah, and that was it was sad when she was talking about how, because she comes from theater, and that when the AIDS epidemic hit, it it impacted a lot of her actor friends.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so she lost a lot of people in that time period.
Hmm.
And a lot of people don't talk about that part of, about, we know when it happened, especially because I'm a millennial. I remember when the big thing came out in the early 90s, especially with like Magic Johnson and stuff. But people were losing friends and family to that. But I guess
Hmm.
people didn't want to talk about the losses that they had because of the shame surrounding it.
Yeah.
And what would that say about the person that they lost?
Mm. It was sad, and it was back
Yeah.
to back to back to back people.
Mm-hmm.
So
The first friend she kind of lost, and her just the way that she describes him and their dynamic, Danny Beard, and kind of how they started off. They had a strong relationship, but they also had fallen out a couple times, and
Mhm.
just the kind of whirlwind of their friendship up until her losing him, her hearing while she's on tour. I think she was still touring on UB. Hearing about his death was heartbreaking, even though, like, they do not, she does not hold her tongue about how their fallouts, how bad they were. Um, but she reiterates more than once how much she deeply loved him and cared for him, and losing him was so, so painful. And just her consistently having this happen again and again,
Mhm.
losing somebody very, very dear to her, or someone not even telling her that they're sick and then losing them, was like, it was really, really heart-wrenching. And she just did such a good job honoring them and their memory, I feel.
I agree. But that was the book, guys. Just I guess before we end, just name a couple or one part that was your favorite. I know, well, for me, my favorite part of the book, well, one of them, but one that's really sticking out is when she goes about describing her presence at Obama's like inauguration or something, like how she snuck her way in. That part of the book was a highlight for me. I really enjoyed that part of the book.
That was so good. I want to say one of my favorites that she brings up multiple times in the story is how her go-to song, audition song, was "Everything's Coming Up Roses" from one of my favorite musicals. So that was like an immediate yes. And how she would just belt out and whatnot, and then she would do a crazy back bend. It just really felt so on brand for her, and I just loved it so much. It was so good, and she brought it up multiple times, even to the point that, that my go-to tricks aren't going to keep working for me. And it was like, yes, it's time to grow and move on.
What about you, Kate? What was your like most memorable part of the book for you?
Um, Probably when she went through the phases of acceptance of her bipolar disorder.
Okay.
Um, Her actually being able to like to sit with that and to want to do something about it, because she went back and forth a lot about, was this really her, or of her thinking that medication was going to make her not be the Jenifer Lewis that she is, her
Mm,
feeling like her being treated for it was going to take away from her big personality, and her steps to actually accepting it and actually doing something about it, because it was a process, because again that generation was like that, it wasn't a thing to talk about mental health, or there's such a big stigma. And but for her being able to talk about it and advocate for mental health, starting with herself, I
oh,
actually love it. And I have a question for everybody, by the way.
all right. All right. Oh, so I'm just saying hi to D Movement. Thanks so much for being
Hey
here.
D.
Just comment. It says easily one of my favorite biographies. One standout moment for me was her interaction with Zelma, Tina Turner's mother, after portraying her in film. I wasn't expecting that. Yeah, that was a good
That
point.
she loved it. That she loved it.
Hmm. But go ahead, Kate. What was your question?
I want to know, what are your favorite Jenifer Lewis roles?
Oh, okay. For me, okay. If I had to pick one, um, I'm gonna have to say her and the preacher's wife, because I love that movie to this day. Oh, I love that movie, and I would still root for Whitney Houston and Denzel character to get together, even though she was married.
Period.
She should have got with that angel. I swear to God, her husband wasn't. He wasn't the one. She was supposed to be with.
Girl, um, I'm gonna say yes to that one. And if I may, the oh God, what was that? She brings it up in, oh yeah, obviously her Fresh Prince, the auntie on Fresh Prince.
Uh-huh.
That character was just too good. And may I say, I also recently watched her on, and this might be controversial, on the most recent, like just want to say 3 episodes ago on And Just Like That, the Sex and the City
Ooh,
follow-up show series.
I didn't know she was in it.
She makes a cameo one episode, as the, I guess, I don't know if they were married, but as kind of the widow of one of the new main characters' fathers who passes away,
Okay.
and she's just so perfect. It's just, it's hard to dislike any character she plays because there's so much of her in it. But this character, if Jenifer Lewis was like, way, way, way 1,000 times more small time, but still an established actor in theater, this person would be her, this character she played on there. So yeah, that's another really good one, a favorite of mine.
All right.
I liked
Okay.
her on sitcoms. Blackish, I loved her.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
then I'm gonna take a way, way back to Different World when she was the professor. I actually loved her in that role. That every time she was on the screen, like even in her younger year, being there, like she commanded the screen every time that she was on there. Like she leaves a mark everywhere she goes, and
Mhm.
it's like when she's on the screen and her line delivery is like remarkable. It's
Yeah.
like you have to pay attention to her line delivery, and she sells it every time, whether she's being funny or she's being stern or she's being in a heartfelt moment. Like you have to pay attention to her line delivery every time.
So, with that said, guys, we appreciate all of you all for watching with us. And oh, we got one comment here. Let me go ahead and acknowledge it here. Hey, D Movie Man again. Sister Act was one of the earliest films I ever watched as a 90s baby. Jenifer Lewis was one of the performers with Dolores Whoopi at the beginning. One of my favorites is her role in The Brothers. I haven't seen the Brothers. I have to look that up. But I didn't know she was in
Yes,
Sister Act.
the brothers with
What's what's The Brothers about? What's The Brothers?
the brothers, with
These
Morris
interracial
Chestnut.
hotties that are all, wait, that
Yeah,
one?
the
Oh
brothers. Yes,
yes,
she was the mom and the
him,
brothers with Morris
thank him.
Chestnut and what is his name? Shamar Moore
Shamar
and
Moore,
Bill
Bill
Bellamy,
Bellamy.
Oh,
D.L.
dang.
Hughley,
Yes,
Tatiana Ali was in the movie,
thank
Gabrielle
him.
Union was in the movie. Yes, Stank Ho, French Ho.
Oh, dang. Not everybody seen it with me.
Oh, so good. So good. She was so good in that. Love it.
Well, I have heard of Sister Act, and though I've seen the first one, but I don't remember it as much as I remember Sister Act too. So
Yeah.
I'll put that asterisk out there. But thank you guys for joining us. Again, let us know your thoughts in the comments. And for our next book that we'll be reviewing in the month of August, just to give you a little, sneak peek. And also, of course, if you would like to read along, we're going to be reading, not even this. I put it in, I sent it to her, but I'll confirm it here on the show. James by was it Percival Everett. Now this is author just won or he won a Pulitzer Prize for this book, and this is a kind of retelling of what's the name of that book? Huckleberry
Oh,
Finn.
yeah.
Yes, so it's
The
coming
Mark,
from
yeah.
the perspective of James, the slave in that book. So apparently, guys, it is supposed to be really, really good. So much so that I know I was plugging Libby earlier from your library. There is a wait that you wouldn't believe for that book. So go ahead and go to Audible and use your credit. Literally, there's like 200 plus. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I put it on hold on the Libby app. I'm number 678 in line for this book. So
That's
it's
crazy.
supposed to be really good.
That's
If you
crazy.
would like to read along, please do. Again, it's James by Percival Everett, and we'll be discussing that next month in the month of August. But yeah, get it on Audible. Oh, but wait, Kay, if you can tell the folks where they can find more of you at.
Yes, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe on the video. Hit subscribe on the channel. Let's see, we just talked about Captain America. We did Dangerous Animals. Um, what else is on there? Ironheart is up there. Fantastic Four is coming on the channel. We did what? The Last of Us. Bring Her Back is up there. Final Destination is up there. 38 Years Later is up there. So if you like nerdy stuff and horror stuff, go ahead and hit subscribe.
All right, her link is listed in the description, so check out her channel. And of course, subscribe and join us here on our book review little show next month. And see you later. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye bye. Wing wing.